All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive into Iranian things.
Oh, yeah, I love these deep
This is
dives.
number 9 already,
Wow, time flies.
It really does.
I'm ready to learn something new.
I'm Kiyu Mars,
I'm Tanaz.
and as always, we are looking at the coolest, most surprising parts of Iranian culture that almost no one knows about.
Right, the kind of stuff you don't find in the guidebooks.
That's right, exactly. And this one is especially fascinating. And a little spooky, too.
Ooh, spooky. I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So picture this. We're going deep into Iranian folklore, rugged mountains, ancient villages.
I'm feeling it already, like a scene from a movie.
Exactly. And the stories whispered around crackling fires, the ones that make the hairs on the back of your necks stand up.
Okay, now you've got my attention. What kind of stories?
Well, we're talking about werewolves in the village of Gudin.
Werewolves. Really? I never would have guessed.
Now, this isn't just any werewolf story. This one gets really personal with a twist you won't see coming.
Okay, now I'm on the edge of my seat.
This creature has a direct tie to a local family, so it hits close to home.
Wow, I'm dying to hear more, but before we dive in, I have to ask, why werewolves? What is it about these creatures that fascinates us so much?
You're right. It's something that pops up in almost every culture, the idea of a human transforming into a wolf.
And there are so many different versions of the myth. Some are purely animalistic, others can shift back and forth.
Exactly, but the common thread seems to be this fear of the wild, of the beast within.
It makes you think about our own duality, the human and the animal side, and what happens when those boundaries blur.
Absolutely. But for now, let's head to Gudin and meet a man named Haj Tahmasb. He's a central figure in our story.
All right, lead the way. I'm all ears.
So, Haj Tahmasb had a son who, much to his father's disapproval, fell head over heels for a woman from a different tribe.
Ah, forbidden love, that's a classic.
It was a bit of a scandal, different tribes, different customs, but love conquers all, right?
Sometimes. But in this case,
Well, despite his reservations, Haj Tahmasb accepted the marriage, but soon after, strange things started happening.
okay, here we go. The plot thickens.
Right. The new bride began sneaking out every night, and naturally, her husband got suspicious.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
He feared the worst, infidelity, betrayal, so he confided in his father, old Haj Tahmasb.
It's interesting how this seemingly ordinary family drama is about to take a supernatural turn.
That's the thing about folklore, right? It mixes the everyday with the extraordinary.
It's grounded in reality, but then it takes you somewhere else entirely.
Exactly. So picture Haj Tahmasb and his son, determined to uncover the truth, armed with a cudgel, just in case.
A cudgel? Wow, they meant business.
They follow the young wife one night as she slips out, and she leads them to a secluded spot high up on a mountain.
Okay, I have a feeling this isn't a secret rendezvous.
You got that right. As they approach, they're met not by another man, but by a terrifying humanoid wolf, a werewolf.
Classic werewolf imagery, the full moon, the mountains, the primal fear.
And here's where the story gets even more chilling. The creature actually speaks,
Wait, the werewolf talks? Are you serious?
and what it says sends shivers down their spines.
Oh man, this is intense. What does it say?
It says, Met Gorg Nisam Gorgasam, Aruz Haj Tamasam,
Okay, break that down for me.
which means, I'm not a wolf, I'm a werewolf, I'm Haj Tahmaspav's daughter-in-law.
No way, she's the werewolf. That's a twist I didn't see coming.
Right, it makes you wonder, was the marriage a deliberate act on her part? Was she drawn to this family for some specific reason?
So many questions. What was her motive? What did she want?
We can only speculate, but what we do know is that Haj Tahmasb and his son, terrified, fled back to the village.
I don't blame him. I'd be running for the hills.
And the daughter-in-law? She disappeared, never to be seen again.
It's such a powerful ending. It leaves you with a sense of unease, like something unsettling is lurking just beneath the surface.
Exactly, and it speaks to those deeper anxieties we were talking about earlier. What happens when something wild, something untamed enters your life?
How do you make sense of it? How do you reconcile it with your understanding of the world?
It makes you think about how people in that time and place viewed the world. Werewolves, shapeshifters. These weren't just figures in scary stories.
They represented something very real, something to be feared and guarded against.
And you see those same themes, those fears of the unknown and the boundaries between human and beast, reflected in werewolf myths around the world.
Like the Beast of Gévaudan in France, or the ancient Greek myth of Lycaon, it's a universal fear.
It's fascinating how a simple story from a small village can connect to something so much larger.
And that's the beauty of folklore, isn't it? It offers a glimpse into the human experience, into our shared fears and fascinations.
It reminds us that even in a world that's increasingly connected, mysteries still exist. And sometimes the most unsettling truths are the ones closest to home.
Exactly, and the line between human and beast might be thinner than we think.
So there you have it, a chilling tale from the heart of Iranian folklore.
A reminder that even in the most remote corners of the world, the power of stories endures.
And sometimes those stories hold a mirror up to our own deepest fears and desires.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another exploration of Iranian things.
Until then, sleep tight and don't let the werewolves bite.
Or the daughters-in-law, for that matter.
Oh, absolutely not.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.